Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beyond the Box Score. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score. I am your host, Max, here with my lovely co-hosts, Sean, Oscar. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Can't complain, man.
Good,
Can't complain.
all right.
Chilly Monday, but it's all right.
Yeah. It is March 11th, 2024, and we got some National League standing rankings coming for you guys.
Preview, yeah.
Yeah, a little preview. We did the American League last week. It went pretty well. I think for the most part we agreed on who's going to be finishing towards the top of those divisions. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So let's start with the NL East. So I think this is pretty straightforward for the most part. I have the Braves finishing first. An unbelievable season last year, 104 wins. Acuna, he'll be in the running for MVP again. You got Matt. Just go down the roster: Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, Sean Murphy. I think this is arguably the best starting rotation in baseball. Would you guys agree with that? I mean, Max Fried, Strider, Morton, and then you get Chris Sale in the offseason.
Yeah.
I think this is the best team in all of baseball, too, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be the
Stacked.
best team, too.
Mm-hmm. I frankly was shocked, along with everyone else, at how poorly it went for them in the playoffs last season. And now you're going to meet, the Dodgers. We're going to talk about the Dodgers in a bit, but they got a lot better. So I'm never a believer of, okay, this team is really good. This team doesn't have any holes. Let's just, give them the World Series because there's no guarantees. But it's hard to not put this team first, finishing first in the division. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah,
Absolutely,
they're definitely number one for me. I think I have them as my number one seed in the National League, too.
Really?
Yeah, just above the Dodgers.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
I agree with Oscar on that, too. I had them in the Dodgers, too. We'll get to that later, but just look at this Braves team. Like Max said, there's no holes in it, but every team I feel like has their kryptonite, and I feel like this Braves team needs to have a strong playoff push this coming season, because if they disappoint again, then I feel like that's going to raise a lot of off-season questions that they don't want to have.
Yeah. And then second, I got the Phillies. The Phillies, not too, eye-opening of an offseason. You signed Zach Wheeler, which is huge. But this is the same roster that has made a lot of noise in the postseason past couple of seasons. Harper, Turner, and Schwarber. I'm gonna trust those guys. I don't think they're gonna win a crazy amount of games, especially considering the injury history that Harper has. Would you guys also see this team finishing second?
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
yeah.
I really like re-signing Zach Wheeler. That basically, and Nola, too. They got Nola out of the way very quickly, though. I really like this team. I think that I really like them keeping this team together because there's a lot of chemistry on this team. They all kind of have a similar goal. They're all kind of the similar age, but they got to make it count. You only got one or two chances left because sports moves by fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll still have the likes of Bryce Harper and stuff. I think we could. I'm expecting to see a lot of regression from Castellanos this season. You've got power hitters in their early and mid 30s. That's not really a recipe for long-term success. Those guys are going to start declining soon. So, you can't choke like they did last playoffs. They've made back-to-back championship games in the National League. It's time to get back to that World Series, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of view them as the Miami Heat of baseball, where they never have too impressive of a regular season, but when they made their World Series run and then last season, they kind of just turn it to a new level, to a different level come postseason. I have the Mets finishing third in the East. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Nets in the next episode when we do like a Yankees-Mets breakdown.
Yeah.
But they've had a confusing offseason is what I labeled it.
They don't know what they want to do. I feel like. They're kind of like stuck in the hard place because it's like, do you want to be good and win, or do you just want to tank and just see what you have with your prospects?
It's fascinating too because you have the owner who is down to spend a crazy amount of money, but it didn't really turn out too well when you did that this past year, really. With Scherzer and Verlander. So I mean, I think most Mets fans would probably be content with just keeping the team as it is this year. They made the run for Yamamoto. I think they offered pretty much the same exact contract as the Dodgers, but he wanted to go to LA. There wasn't anything they could do about that. So we're gonna see how it shapes up with this team. I think that you add Luis Severino and Harrison Bader, which if healthy will contribute. Senga is gonna start the season on the IR, which is not what you want to see. And then the future with Alonso also has a massive question mark. But I don't know. I think they have enough, to finish third, but I can't see them really making the postseason. I think it's going to be another kind of disappointing season, similar to last season for them.
Do you think they win 85 games?
I mean, let's see. How many did they won?
I don't think so,
year?
unfortunately.
They won 75.
I feel like they could get close to it. Maybe like 78, 79.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I think it's going to be.
It was 85 last year.
75.
75.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't really make any serious moves this offseason, so I don't really think we can expect anything special. Senga being injured really hurts this team. I don't know. I think with Verlander and Scherzer underperforming in the way that they did last year, he really carried that staff and that rotation. He's probably going to need to do it again, but it's just like this team, it was constructed like a really old man baseball team, in my opinion. And by that I mean there's a lot of good batting averages. The strikeout rate is real low, but they don't. I don't know. They're just not swinging enough, man. You gotta be brave sometimes. Fortune favors the bold. You gotta try and knock the ball around because it's like I went to a few Mets games last season, and it's just like for the Mets to score a run, unless it's like Alvarez or Pete Alonso coming in there and just crushing one deep, it takes so long for the Mets to score. Mm-hmm. They don't swing enough. They're too cautious, and they're too happy to just really slowly get on base. And to me, that's hurt this team a lot of times. And to a certain extent, it doesn't matter how good your pitching is. If you can't get runs, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I think they're preparing for this coming off season because you have Soto, who they're probably going to make a pretty deep run at. You have Max Fried. There's a lot of players that are going to be available to them. I think that they would value and pour a lot of money in because it's great having an owner, a billionaire owner that is willing to spend the big bucks. And Steve Cohen has kind of proven himself to be that guy.
Yep. But I think that though money helps, it can't buy you everything, and you need a good coherent plan. I think. Now let's see if they bring up some. I'm really interested to see how Francisco Alvarez develops. He's a really good defensive catcher. He's in the 95th percentile for framing, according to Baseball Savant, one of my favorite baseball stat websites. And he's a power hitter, but I mean he's only 22, but he needs his time to develop. A lot of my friends who are really big Mets fans, shout out to Azad if he's listening, love this guy. I had a friend who said he wouldn't trade Francisco Alvarez for Juan Soto, which I think is absolutely
that's insane.
No, it's crazy
insane.
talk.
Yeah.
He was wrong about that. Yeah. But this guy could be something really special. Just as long as he needs to work on his discipline, though. He strikes out way too much. He's chasing that ball all over the field. And if you're that deadly of a home run hitter, you should be getting more walks, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You should be scaring the pitcher more.
Okay, so far we're all in agreement. Braves, Phillies, Mets. I got the Marlins fourth. You know, they have some pieces that I really like in Arias, Luzardo, Chisholm, Perez. But it's not really enough that's going to be, you know, they made the playoffs last season, but it's not going to really be competitive. It's too competitive, the NL right now, for them to really make any noise, in my opinion.
Yeah, not only that, but I checked. It was either Sunday or Saturday. Well, this weekend we're recording on a Monday. I don't think they have yet to make a single to sign a single major league player. It's just been minor league moves.
Okay.
Just like either assigning guys to the major leagues or moving guys down or signing guys to minor league deals. And like you said, not only in the National League, but especially in this division, that's not good enough, man. That's not good enough. You got to play, Atlanta a bunch of times this year. You got to play Philly a bunch of times this year. Even the Mets, man, I don't think the Mets are a playoff team. Mets are, it's not a bad team. They can hurt you. And, I think that the Reds are going to be better. I think the Cubs are going to be better if we're talking about, like, the race for the wild card spot.
Yeah.
And the NL West, forget about it. They're not competing with those guys. No way.
And then I have the Nationals finishing last. This is, a team that's in the middle of a rebuild. So I don't expect them to really compete for anything right now. All right, let's move on to the NL Central. This is an interesting one. I think it could play out in a couple different ways. I have the Cubs finishing first. I think, with the additions of Imanaga and Hector Neris, you re-signed Bellinger, which was kind of the big question for them. You have an ace in Justin Steele, and then I think they have a pretty solid overall roster. I think they have enough to finish first. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a battle probably to the end with the team that I'm finishing second, the Brewers. This is a pretty competitive team. They lose Corbin Burns, which is huge. But you won 92 games last season. So we're going to see. I think that's going to kind of go down to the wire between the Cubs and the Brewers. I have the Reds finishing third. I'm not too sure about this one, though. They could make some noise. They're young. They're very talented. I think Ellie De La Cruz is going to make, another step forward. The guy was like a human highlight reel last season. Ton of fun to watch.
I had the Reds second.
You have
Me
the Reds
too.
second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go first, Sean?
Yeah, I just think with Milwaukee, I feel like they have a good team, but I feel like the Reds have added a couple of nice pieces here that is going to propel this team. So I think they could even make the playoffs. Or
the wild card?
Or the wild card, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this team's really good, but go ahead, Oscar.
Yeah, just adding on to what you said, I agree with all those points. And I don't know, I feel like maybe I'm disrespecting Milwaukee a little bit because they have been a really well-run organization the past few years. It's not been a very strong division, but they know how to get guys in and, get them playing the best. But I like I said earlier, fortune favors the bold. I like to see guys bringing in young studs like Ellie De La Cruz. This guy is Ellie, man. He's amazing. He's amazing. He's like if Gumby could play baseball and was like an amazing baseball player. Like he hits for power. He's he might be the fastest player in baseball. He's in the 100th percentile for sprint speed. I just like he's leading this team. I mean, though, Novi Marte, he was a really good player. Sorry, my pronunciation wasn't great there, but he was a great player last year. Looked really promising, but he's now suspended for 80 games after testing positive for PEDs. Kind of silly, man. Don't play yourself. But with that being said, I don't know. I like some of the signings that the Reds have made, and I trust the youth. I want to see another. I want to see another year of Ellie.
So do we all have Cubs first or Brewers first?
Oh, I have the Cubs first.
I have the Cubs first, yeah.
Cubs first. Okay, cool.
I like their signings a lot. I don't know. Just looks like there's intent there. And did you guys? I don't know if you saw the press conference for what's his name? For Bellinger. I think it was Bellinger's re-signing press conference, and Boris was there, Scott Boris, and I forget who it was, but someone with the Cubs management was like, "Oh, you were supposed to bring someone else here today, right?" And he was like, "What about Jordan Montgomery?" And they all laughed about it and looked very like, tongue-in-cheek way. So that might be happening. Add a
Yeah.
player like that to the team. I think that's, then I'd feel even more confident about having them in first.
Here's the thing about Montgomery and Snell right now is it's just, I think you run too much of a risk getting a player, getting a pitcher specifically this deep into spring training. I mean, the risk for injury has got to be extremely high. I'm not a major league ball player, of course, but I feel like pitchers really, especially starting pitchers, you really need to work your body into it, get those innings up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. With that being said, as long as the manager, I think, is managing those starts, maybe he'll be in the back of the rotation for the beginning of the year. Just kind of keep him in the wings, training a little bit. Maybe limit
Maybe they
his
just won't
innings.
start for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, it could be that too.
Go
Yeah.
through the rotation a little bit without him,
Mhm.
and then find his way in there.
So you're right. That's very important. You got to, that day-to-day fitness of just being able to pitch so often every 5 days. Is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
These guys are throwing like fireballs.
yeah. And then I have the Cardinals finishing fourth. I like the addition of Sonny Gray. He's a very solid pitcher. Goldschmidt and Arenado are two great players, but the team finished 20 games under 500 last season. So and these other teams are just younger. I feel like it's more reliable, hitting wise, and I like their pitching a little bit more. So I can't put the Cardinals above the Reds, Brewers, or Cubs.
I had the Pirates above the Cardinals. I had the Cardinals in last.
Really?
But yeah, because I don't know, kind of similar to what I said about the Reds. I kind of, to a much lesser degree, I feel the same way about the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got some young players coming through. I love O'Neal Cruz. He's kind of like another version of Eli, where he's just like so tall, so strong, just can crush home runs. He was amazing last year before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, another year of him. I'm really excited to see that. I think that what's his name? Reynolds? Is that his face? No, it's not Reynolds.
Brian Reynolds,
It wasn't Brian Reynolds. Who's the pitcher again?
Chapman.
Yeah. No, not Chapman, but they're starting. They're ace. Oh crap! I can't forget. This is very unprofessional of me.
You had to roll this Chapman in the off season, which was going to be a really nice closer for them.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I can't. There's nothing that really makes me feel like they're gonna even really come close. They had a really
Mitch
hot
Keller.
start. Mitch Keller.
I like Mitch Keller a lot.
Mhm.
He's a great pitcher.
Yeah. All right. Well, should
That's
we move on to the
disrespectful. He's
West?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say really. Yeah.
Okay. This is an interesting one, man. I think last episode we talked about how the AL East is arguably the best division in all of baseball, and I think that's true. But the NL West kind of gives them a run for their money. I got the Dodgers finishing first. Just we could have a whole episode just about their free agency. I feel like. From Shohei Ohtani to Yamamoto, Glasnow, Teoscar Hernandez, you spend over $1 billion in one free agency. I mean, I think they're going for it, guys. I don't know if you agree or not, but I think it's going to be obviously between them and the Braves is finishing, in that number one spot. I don't know. Who do you guys think is gonna win the NL?
Wait, the West or the whole National League?
Just the whole National League. I'm curious who you guys think is the best team.
As long as Acuna Jr. stays healthy, then the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's gonna be the Dodgers.
Dodgers.
I feel like they have too much. They're too top heavy. So I like obviously the Brewers are the team to beat just because they've been doing it more consistently. But the Dodgers have really just spent their buck well and have really just added all these pieces. Shohei Ohtani is like the best player in baseball. So to add him to this roster that was already good before he got there, I feel like that really puts them over the edge of the Brewers. But it could go either way.
Yeah, and the contract for Shohei is just ridiculous. It just allows them to
Oh, yeah.
really spend that money as they please.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're adding all those guys to a roster that already has two MVP candidates in Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this team is going to be really good, and they're going to win a lot of games.
And even Ohtani's like as a hitter, he's MVP quality, but he's not going to be pitching. So
That's right.
They never give it to a DH, so he won't really be. He's not a real candidate to me.
Yeah. The question for me is whether or not they, win the World Series. I think like I said earlier, nothing is guaranteed. So you could spend all this money, you could go out, you can get all-stars at every single position. It's still not guaranteed that you're going to go to the World Series because it's baseball, and it doesn't come postseason. It really matters who's healthy and who's hitting, who's on fire.
I agree. Look at them last year.
Yeah.
They were still a really good team last year, even though they weren't this level, and they had a really... I mean, the past 2 years really disappointing postseasons.
Mm-hmm.
Past few years, honestly, they've kind of... it's fun to tease them because they're, just spend way more money than everyone else, so I don't feel bad for them when they fail. But
yeah.
But the only reason why I'm picking Atlanta over them is just because I like Atlanta's. Just consistency. I like they brought the team together, and if the Dodgers really do well this year, then I think for the next few years they could be the number 1 seed. But I don't know, maybe not this year. They've got things to figure out, like how's Mookie Betts gonna do playing shortstop and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting decision because he hadn't played shortstop, I think, since high school.
Or like the minors or something. Yeah.
I have the Diamondbacks finishing second. Pretty much everyone here, probably every single baseball fan, was shocked that they made the World Series.
Yep.
So I can't put them anywhere below second place in this division.
Especially because I feel like after the Dodgers and Diamondbacks, there's such a big drop-off here.
Yeah.
That I feel like the Diamondbacks are the second team.
Yeah.
If they do make the World Series again, though, I mean, crazier things have happened. No one expected them to make it the first time. I feel like they'll just have a really good regular season. They'll have a stronger regular season than they did last year.
Yeah, I mean, Corbin Burns is just going to keep getting better, and they have a lot of, young players who, are aggressive base runners. They have an ace in Zach Gallen. I really like the team and how it's constructed, and I think it's built for the future as well. I have the Giants finishing third. I think they quietly had, let's say, maybe a top 5 offseason. You sign Jung Ho Lee, you sign Jorge Soler, Jordan Hicks, Matt Chapman. Those are all very solid players. You have your ace in Logan Webb. I think, they're going to probably give the Diamondbacks a run for their money and then second place in the NL West. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely going to be the Diamondbacks. I like, the Giants are okay, but I believe in this Arizona team. I like the Snakes,
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I don't know, I just have a lot more faith in them to keep it going and get better, because it's still like a decently young team, They're led by, Seattle's, one of their favorite sons at the moment, Corbin. He's a beast. I think he's just going to get better. And I don't know, I can't wait to see him. Actually, I'm going to look at some of his stats. I just want to, I can't wait to see if he just, gets even better than he's already been.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants, to me, seem like the team they're a really good team, but they're just in the wrong division.
Yeah.
But if you look at all across the whole line, and now all these divisions are good. Like, you can't look at any of these divisions as being weak. So it's like, where would you really place them to be higher than what we think they are going to be?
Yeah, I'd say the NL Central is probably the weakest because they don't have that, top tier.
Right.
Just without a doubt, this team is going to finish first.
But I feel like Chicago, Cincinnati,
not bad. Brewers aren't bad.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Those are 3 good teams, and then you have the Cardinals and the Pirates there. But
it's going to be a real race for those wild card spots. Yeah, but you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think the Giants could do it. I don't know. And also, it's kind of hard doing previews when there's still a couple pretty good free agents left on the market.
Right.
I think adding Jordan Montgomery, he's been linked to San Francisco. I think that would be interesting. Even Snell too. I don't know what's going on with Snell. You saw what he posted on Instagram the other day?
Like the
eyeball emoji just baited us for nothing, no reason. Yeah. But if you add one of the like for example, if the Phillies sign Snell, I'm picking them to win the World Series, something like that,
Really?
I think so. I really like that Phillies team, but we can get to that later.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Giants. I just there's too many question marks for me to put them above the Snakes because they weren't even better than them last year, and there's I think a lot of the signings that the Giants made, there's a lot of high risk, high reward ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like sign what's his name?
Jung Ho Lee.
Yeah. Yes. You sign a
I
guy
think
like
you're saying
that,
it right.
who I think is, I don't know. I've heard he's been looking really good in spring training, but there are a few question marks. They did give him a pretty penny.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, I think they got Chapman for good money. I don't think he was worth like $100 million contract.
Oh yeah.
That's what he
Absolutely
wanted,
not.
I think, but he's not worth that much. He's an amazing defender, but I don't know. I don't know if I really see a lot of great hitters in this team. You know what I mean? Yeah.
This division is crazy because we haven't even talked about the Padres.
Yeah.
I have the Padres finishing 4th, which is, kind of
I agree.
shocking because, I have Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. Those guys, I think they're probably on the verge of MVP candidates.
Mm-hmm.
You lose Soto, which is, obviously huge, but it's a good starting rotation with Darvish and Musgrove, and now you had Michael King from the Juan Soto deal. Like I said, I want to put them higher, but I can't really. I just like the Giants roster. From the way that the Padres seasons have gone, the kind of regular seasons at that, they've kind of underperformed a little bit. Like, we remember when they signed Xander Bogaerts, and we thought this team was gonna really compete with the Dodgers.
Yeah. That was. They were so hyped up for all for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And now Xander's gonna play second, right? They're moving him, right?
Yeah.
They're moving him. Yeah. So yeah, I don't look. Their record last year wasn't very good. They finished was it 3rd in that division, or 4th?
They finished 3rd.
Yeah, they finished 3rd in that division, with a record of 82 and 80.
It's the same record the Yankees had.
Yeah,
It's
it's pretty
crazy.
nuts. And you lost maybe one of the best players in baseball in Soto. You lose Hader, who's top 3, if not maybe I don't know if I'd say he's the best closer in baseball, but he's up there.
Yeah, he's up there for sure.
He's really good. And you lost the Cy Young winner.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you can. I just don't. There's no way you can make up those wins, I think, or at
Mhm.
least not with Yeah, there's no way you can make up. I don't think this is a case of we're getting greater by subtraction. Sometimes that does help. Sometimes you got to get rid of some dead weight. Just so the chemistry's clear, people know their roles better. But I don't think this is an instance of that. I think they just tried to get whatever they could for Soto because they knew he wasn't going to re-sign. And I think they're just getting ready for next offseason to try and shed some cap and make some signings with a better free agent class next summer.
Yeah.
Or winter, actually. Baseball's played in the summer.
Mm-hmm. Good call. And then I got the Rockies finishing last. I think there's not much of a surprise there.
Pretty ballpark, but it's bad franchise.
20 games back of the Giants who were in 4th in their division last year was pretty bad.
Yeah, wow.
That's terrible.
Do we think they'll finish closer in 20 games this season?
To 4th place?
I'll say 15.
15.
They'll be 15
Okay, that's
back.
nice.
Okay,
That's
okay.
that's
Yeah.
generous.
I'm being generous here.
Yeah.
Chris Bryant comeback
They're,
season.
they're the Oakland Athletics of the NL.
Yeah, a little bit. But I don't really feel bad. Denver's got Jokic and the Nuggets.
Yeah,
they're
they got
chilling.
Jokic.
It'll be okay.
They're living for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Just the city of kings, man. Jokic and Chris Bryant.
All right.
So the former home of Russell Wilson. We'll get to that soon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We
Stay
got some
tuned.
NFL stuff coming later. All right, let's get to our MVP, Rookie of the Year, and Cy Young predictions. Oscar, why don't you go first?
All right. What are we starting with MVP?
Let's do Rookie of the Year first.
Rookie of the Year? Okay. For my National League Rookie of the Year, I'm picking I wrote the name down so I don't get it wrong. Is it Yamamoto? How do you say his first name?
Yeah,
Is
Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yes, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try and get better with that. I'm not a great with pronunciation. I think that it's kind of cheating because though he is a rookie to Major League Baseball, he's not a rookie to professional baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's played professionally before overseas, back home in Japan, and he was amazing there. I was a little bit worried about his height coming in because usually pitchers below like 6 foot, like it's kind of harder. They need to put more force into the way they throw because they don't have as much they're not as much of a trebuchet. So sometimes they burn out, but I don't know, man. I don't think I don't know if you guys watched his inning he pitched against the Rangers, but if he pitches like that, then it doesn't matter because he's not going to be throwing that many pitches. He made extremely light work of that of the Rangers players he dealt with. And he struck out, I think, was it Semien and Seager maybe? Like it wasn't like minor league guys coming up for a whack. It was like World Series champions he was making look foolish.
They must have really spoken to a lot with Ohtani about the signing, because that was the discussion when they gave Yamamoto all that money. This guy's never pitched an inning in the MLB before. It's kind of risky, but he is the clear favorite. DraftKings have him as plus 190 for NL Rookie of the Year. Rookie pitchers are interesting. So I went away from it and I picked Jung Ho Lee with the San Francisco Giants. I think he wanted to go there for a reason. He's gonna have a great season. It's a risky pick. I think Yamamoto is probably the safer pick. But I don't know. I felt good about this signing and him going there.
Yeah. Honestly, I picked Yamamoto. I was between him and Jung Hung Lee, but it's just Yamamoto. I feel like you guys said, has baseball experience, Major League Baseball experience, even though it's not an MLB. And I feel like on the team like the Dodgers, he needs to be able to hit it off right away. So there's not be any pressure. He's just gonna be able to just get plugged into the rotation and just be successful right away. Which other rookies won't have the luxury of doing.
Let's go to Cy Young. Oscar, what do you got?
Cy Young. So I'm kind of picking a bit of a dark horse.
Okay.
He's only been an All-Star once, though he's had, in my opinion, a few All-Star quality seasons. I think, but if he does win the Cy Young, it's because, the voters are going to have to be smart and stop doing tip of the iceberg baseball analysis with, like, ERA and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to pick Zach Wheeler.
Okay.
I'm expecting big things out of him. I think that, like I said, his ERA was kind of high last season, but that was ballooned because the Phillies have a bad defense. For a contender, I think they have pretty bad defense. So, that kind of hurt him a little bit, but I think I want to see him get votes this year if he stays healthy. He's just been so good. His season last year, he struck out 212 batters, pitched 192 innings. I've always been a fan of his for a while. When he was I used to watch him when he was a Met. I thought it was a mistake letting him go. A lot of people disagreed with me, and as usual, I was right because he's been amazing for the Phillies. But his expected ERA was a lot less than his actual ERA. His expected ERA was a little over 3.18. But yeah, and his exit velocity is great. He really doesn't throw very many balls at all. He doesn't really walk a lot of guys at all. And he doesn't really give up many, even though he's got a lot of velocity, or not as much as he used to, even though he does have velocity, he doesn't really give up a lot of really hard hit balls. So, I don't know. And I wanted to be a little bit different. I don't know. I suspect lots of people would probably pick Spencer Strider and stuff, but I don't know. I'm going with Zach Wheeler. I think he's going to have a really good year.
Okay, that's a good pick. I went with the favorite, Spencer Strider, plus 550 on DraftKings Sportsbook. By the way, Zach Wheeler is plus 800.
He's right behind him, right?
Yeah, right behind him. I think Strider should probably be the favorite here. His ERA was not nearly as good as Blake Snell's last year. But I mean the strikeouts, man. The guy is really, really good at what he does.
Yeah. I mean, ERA to me, I mean, it can mean something, but like,
Yeah.
it's a deceptive stat. It's like I said, a tip
Yeah.
of the iceberg stat. You know, you got to watch more games. You know, or like you got to look at like deeper stats. To me, you know, like like you said, he struck so many guys out. And you know, ERA can go up. It's not necessarily your fault. It's not necessarily because you gave up a quality hit. You know, the defense could have made a mistake.
Yeah. What do you got?
Spencer Strider. He's
When
gonna
in
be on,
doubt.
yeah, he's going to be on a very good team. He's going to be a great pitcher. I feel like he's going to have a lot of success on this team, and yeah, this team's going to win a lot of games. And I feel like the way he's going to be able to pitch is going to be he's going to be able to prevent a lot of home runs from a lot of teams. He's going to be able to strike a lot of guys out.
As far as MVP, I said Mookie Betts. I think he's not the favorite. Obviously, Acuna's coming off that kind of season is going to be the favorite. Mookie's currently plus 650 to win MVP, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting how this plays out with three MVP candidates on one team. I mean the guy it's gonna be interesting seeing him as shortstop, like we said. But the guy is just such a consistent hitter, hits for power. I mean, he's a very, very reliable player. And with you mentioned the Ronald Acuna Jr. possible injury issues that he's had. I think the safe pick here would be to go Betts. Also, especially since Acuna just is coming off an MVP.
Yeah, I went with Shohei Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I feel like I said before, he's the best player in baseball. Great batter, great pitcher, and I feel like this on Dodgers team like this, he's gonna be able to solely focus. I feel like mainly on batting. I don't feel like he's gonna be pitching a lot.
He's not gonna be pitching at all this next
Yeah.
season.
So with that, just one focus of him not having to be a two-dimensional player, I feel like he's gonna take a lot of load off his shoulders and just be able to focus in on one thing, zone in on it, and just become the best player.
Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I guess I'll just I'll say my pick, and then we can go on with the discourse, like why we picked and maybe why we disagree with some things here in a second. So I picked. Yeah. I'm predicting a repeat. I'm going with Ronald Acuna Jr. I mean, I don't know. I don't like the Braves, but I love this guy. To me, he's just everything that's right about baseball. He's everything that baseball should be. You know, not this old man. You know, like don't celebrate when you hit a home run. The best thing in all sports, like kind of stuff. I love this guy. He plays the game. You know, he puts his neck on the line. He's running all over the place. He's stealing bases. What was his record last year? He had I think he had a 41 and 73 season, which is that. And for the folks at home who don't know what that means, that's 41 home runs and 73 stolen bases. My oh my, that is amazing.
Not too bad.
Now here, the only thing that I'm concerned about is apparently he's already had a bit of a knock in spring training. I think it was his knees apparently hurt him a little bit, and that's just his problem, man. He does have injury problems. It's just when he's healthy, he's as good as anyone. I don't care. I mean, look, I'm looking at his baseball savant page right now. It looks like it's bleeding red. Like everything's in the, he's hitting the 100th percentile for so many different things. And for 26, I mean, I guess 26 he's in the prime of his career now, but he doesn't strike out very often. And yeah, if I was managing the Braves though, I would say, hey buddy, stop stealing so many bases. We don't want you hurting yourself doing that. Because this is, this is the kind of guy who will lead you to the first seed. This is the kind of guy who can maybe even lead you to the World Series. Yeah. I came very close to picking Mookie Betts, but I mean, I'll be honest for the folks at home, I probably was going to pick him, but then I saw Max did, and I was like, let's make it a little bit more interesting. But no, seriously though, I think that, I don't know, I believe in Mookie Betts. I think he's amazing, but he is changing positions.
Yeah.
He's going to short, which I don't know. I've heard people say that they think he's going to do just fine, and I'm sure he will too. But you never know.
Shortstop is not the easiest position.
Oh no, it's arguably the
for
hardest.
an outfielder, you can just kind of you can move guys over.
Yeah.
But shortstop is completely different.
Yeah, for sure. But he's one of the most talented and versatile players in baseball. I think he'll be able to pull it off. But that being said, Acuna Jr. He's coming off his first MVP. He's hot. I don't know. His confidence should be sky high.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go with the hot hand. And I don't know. I really like watching that guy play, man. I really do. And normally, I don't think Shohei is gonna win. I don't think unless he just really has one of the best hitting seasons of all time because I don't know, baseball writers hate the designated hitter and they never give any MVP votes to guys who don't play defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if he was pitching, we'd probably all be inclined to pick Shohei.
Exactly.
Would he be the favorite over Acuna?
Yes, simply because of Shohei had injury too last year, but just because of his usual durability, I'd say Shohei. Yeah.
Mm.
Just I don't know. I love Acuna Jr., but he's always you're always got to factor in like he could get injured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm fine with the Mookie Betts pick. I think I'm pretty confident in that one. I don't like picking MVPs like back-to-back MVPs. There's something weird about it. I think it's probably the
it's
rarity
not as
of it
common.
happening. Yeah.
In MLB.
I don't think and I don't think
Voters.
voters really like doing it either. So
Right.
might put me at a disadvantage. But with Acuna Jr. man, if he comes even close to what he was doing last year and he leads the Braves to first place or like second, I don't know. It's gonna be hard to say no.
Mm-hmm.
But honest, that our National League preview.
Yeah.
I think so.
You guys
yeah.
want to move on to free agency and NFL?
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Let's do it. All right.
Where do you want to start? Because there was a lot this past hour.
Yeah. Have we missed anything?
Uh,
I could check.
Nothing big.
Nothing big. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
So I just have a bunch here. We can
Oh,
go
you
down
made a
and-
list. Nice.
Yeah, I made a list.
That's really helpful. Good
and
job.
we can just kind of go down and give our initial thoughts.
Yeah.
So Chiefs re-signed Chris Jones, 5-year, $32 million per year, with $95 million guaranteed. Yeah, it is a lot of money, but I think it is something that had to be done. I mean, the guy made massive plays, including plays in the Super Bowl. I don't know if he's like the best defensive lineman in the league, but he's their best defensive player. And it's clear he loves playing for the Chiefs. The Chiefs love him. And I think this is a move that you needed to make.
Yeah, 110%. I agree. He's the heart and soul of that defense, and
Mm.
the defense brought them to that Super Bowl. I mean, I don't know, it's a team game, but like the defense was the best part of that team. As great as Patrick Mahomes is, he can't do it all by himself, and that offense does not really help him other than Kelsey and Pacheco.
He was greatly improved this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
That was kind of the headline for most of the regular season for the Chiefs.
And even Mahomes pointed it out multiple times. This is the best defense he's ever played with,
Mm-hmm.
and Chris Jones was the engine behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was
So
just.
it was significant for them to resign him.
Yeah, he's amazing. So, I agree with you guys. Had to be done. Even if, it's a lot of money, but, who cares?
Money's just going to keep getting more and more.
Exactly.
Patriots traded Mac Jones. This is something I think a lot of people saw coming. Traded Mac Jones to the Jaguars for a 6th-round pick. Wow. Mac will back up Trevor Lawrence, and the Patriots will look for a quarterback in this upcoming NFL draft. Either going to be Drake May or Jaden Daniels. I think people are kind of back and forth on those picks, but whoever works, it's got to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be Drake May.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Drake May, unless you want Bailey Zappi starting at quarterback for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
What a sad way for it to end for Mac Jones, huh? Because I feel like he was good 2 years ago. He was solid 2 years ago.
He hasn't had a real team around him, which is unfortunate because
Yeah.
he is one of those guys, where you see a lot of moments where if he has time in the pocket, he'd deliver a really nice football.
Right.
But that's just the thing, especially in a rebuilding team like the Patriots, you're not going to have an amazing O-line. You're not going to have the best weapons, which the Patriots didn't have. And now they're going to look for a guy who can, overcome some of those disadvantages. The Buccaneers re-signed Baker Mayfield to a 3-year, $100 million deal. This is something that I think a lot of people saw coming after the season that he had I don't have the stats pulled up, but he had a really, really impressive season. Got to the playoffs. They won a playoff game. It was against the Eagles, who were horrible, but it's still, a lot of money, and I think it's deserved. What do you guys think?
For the Buccaneers, this was important not only because how good Baker was this season, but it also put them at finally some stability at the quarterback position after Brady retired. So I feel like with Baker, they know what they have, and they were successful this season. Yeah, they only had a 9-8 record, but they still won their garbage division. So I feel like it was important for them to sign Baker and have some consistency going forward. I still think they could be a good team here for the next few years.
Yeah, I mean what you said about the division is true. It is not the best, and you won your Super Bowl with Brady, right? So I feel like why not just have fun with Baker for a little bit?
Yeah.
It was fun seeing the ups and the downs with him. He's kind of a gunslinger, and they still have nice weapons on that offense. So good for them.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. I can't really hate on it too much. I'm never against anyone really getting paid. That is a lot of money, though. I don't know. It seems like you guys are very positive, so I'll kind of say some of the drawbacks. That's a lot of money for Baker Mayfield, who dude, last offseason he was almost out of the league. People were talking about he might not play in the NFL again. My only thing, just to play devil's advocate, kind of saying a different thing, would they be much worse paying someone like Sam Darnold or Justin Fields rookie money or 10, 15 mil a year, and then just making the offense and defense better all around them? I think the answer might be yes. I think that they might be better if they just did that. But I don't know. I'm not mad at it. It's not a bad. It's a. I mean, sorry, I take that back. It's a very bad division. They won it last year. They have a chance to win it again. I mean, maybe not with some moves the Falcons just made. Yeah, but like I said, I'm not going to hate on anyone getting their money. Good for him, I guess.
Yeah, it's a nice underdog story because pretty much everyone was out on him after Carolina.
Yeah, and I could see the fans there really liking him. They're not really used to very much success at all. So I think if he just makes playoff games for them 1 or 2 years, I think he'll be very well liked there.
I say underdog story, but he was the number 1 overall pick, so I don't know.
He's also
for how his NFL career turned out. It wasn't an underdog story.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's got a what do you call it? Damn, he's got a big chip on his shoulder, and I also think I could picture. I know some people from Tampa, and I could picture him just fitting in Tampa very well. I picture the floor, the dudes who wear the boat shoes and sandals everywhere, and the polo shirts really like him. Be like, exactly. Baker's my bro, man. We look like we drink beer together, kind of thing. I think he's gonna fit in well there.
Okay, well here's a shocker. Russell Wilson planned to sign with the Steelers when the new league year begins. The Steelers will be paying for $1.2 million of his salary, while the Broncos will be paying $38 million, which is just kind of insane. I feel bad for the Broncos, to be honest, because they kind of just got scammed.
This guy always finds a way.
He's going to be making so much money,
I swear.
and I mean the team is the defense is great.
Yeah.
Tomlin is an incredible coach. We know that.
Pickett wasn't the quarterback, which we all knew, but
yeah, and
Russell
you have some promising young pieces in that offense, but I can't see Russell Wilson. Look, he had his moments last year. The Broncos had a nice win streak. It was not nearly as bad as the first year that he was there, but I don't know. I can't see them, especially in that division, dude. With the Ravens and the Bengals, I can't see it. I can't see it working out with Russ.
Do you guys think they finish above 500, or is there no shot?
Yeah, probably. I mean, with Tomlin.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin's the coach, so I can't ever bet against him.
Yeah.
I don't know, because this is weird to me. Because on one hand, I kind of think this might go terribly wrong. Because if Sean Payton hated Russell Wilson, Mike Tomlin is going to despise him.
Yeah, they both feel like the same kind of coach.
Yeah, I think Mike Tomlin seems more like I'm like a hard hat, lunch pail kind of guy.
Much more than Payton is.
Not really about the flash, and especially, I don't know, the Steelers fans, they fancy themselves, working class heroes,
Yeah.
not these sissy boys. Like they get their hands dirty every day, So I don't know how they're gonna like Russell Wilson there.
And I'm not questioning Russell's like work ethic or there's clearly still a good amount of talent there, but his ability to escape the pocket has kind of, I don't know, where is it? I don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't. The age has kind of caught up to him a little bit.
He can't move. He can't evade players and extend plays the way he used to, and that's a really big problem. But with all, I just said a bunch of. I thought he would be a better fit in Minnesota. Like I think the fans there would really like him and stuff. But I don't know. But like, is that true that they're only paying like 1.2 mil of his
Yeah.
salary? If that's the case, man, I don't know how long this contract is going to be that he's. Is it just for the duration of the Broncos? Like
Is
I
it
don't know.
3 years? I don't remember.
I think it was for
It's
the
just
duration, but I want to say it was either 2 or 3.
Okay. Well, in any case, I don't know. Maybe if they're really paying him that little, F it. Just do it because it
Why
seems
not?
like
Yeah.
it also seems like I feel like the Steelers wouldn't have brought him in without Mike Tomlin saying okay. So
True.
he can't
Good
be
point.
that opposed to it, right?
Yeah,
And I feel
yeah.
like that also is Mike Tomlin being like, I don't want to lose my playoff streak. Get me someone,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be better than Pickett. I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
That's all they care about,
Yeah.
Steelers fans.
See, I put Pickett in the same category as Mac Jones, where it's just like you never should have spent a first-round pick on either of those guys.
Mm.
Those are like guys you just get whoever is best on the board, and then you wait till round 2 to draft those guys. It's like yeah.
This is an interesting one. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins requested a trade after their inability to have any contract extension conversations. I don't know. I'm very high on T. Higgins, especially when Jamar Chase was out. He proved that he could be a number 1 wide receiver. His numbers in 2022 were amazing. Last year, not so much, but he didn't have Burrow for a great deal that season. I think this guy's like a star, and any team that picks him up, they probably have their number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's wide receiver 1 on almost every team in the league except for not Minnesota, not Cincinnati, because those guys are 2 Hall of Fame potential
Yeah.
guys.
Dallas, Dolphins.
Yeah. I don't know. There's not that many teams where he wouldn't be, wide receiver number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just like kind of NFL has a really really strict salary cap, and unfortunately, it's looking like you're gonna have to make this. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the cap numbers are for the Bengals, but looks like they're gonna. Yeah, it looks like they don't have the money, or they're unwilling to spend the money to give him that contract. Because, did they pay Jamar Chase yet?
I don't
I'm
think.
not sure.
I know
No,
they
not yet.
re-signed. They re-signed the sample today too. Their backup tight end.
Yeah, but they paid Joe Burrow, and they paid and they're going to pay Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard to pay 2 receivers top dollar.
Exactly. Oh, actually, wait. No, I think they did pay him. I think he makes $30 million a year.
Chase. Hold on.
I think so. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Sorry, that was kind of personal with me. But yeah, somebody look that up for me if they can. But yeah, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna add this last bit just to be kind of a jerk, but now I'm interested because if he leaves, gonna have to see how Joe Burrow looks without 2 star wide receivers. Which I don't know.
Okay.
A lot of people at the station are a little bit higher on Joe Burrow than I am. Like I don't know. I think he gets a lot of credit for that offense and how they perform. But like,
Where'd you put him in your quarterback rankings?
in
I
my
don't remember.
quarterback rankings, did we ever do quarterback?
Yeah.
rankings?
Yeah. We get it
We
at the
did?
start of September.
Oh. Damn,
I had him
missed that.
second. I'm pretty sure. I had him right
For me,
behind Mahomes.
Had him 3rd or 4th.
For me, he's 5th.
Wow,
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
Interesting.
It's just like I think he's great. Like he's a franchise QB, MVP candidate probably, but
Yeah.
it's the thing of, and I don't know, it's one of these kind of silly hypotheticals where he always has had good wide receivers, so I'm not going to criticize him for it, but you got to ask the question. It's like he's look real good when in college when he's got, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and then NFL when you got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and, Tyler Boyd.
He's also had injury issues, so you got to take that into account as well.
Oh, and I think people don't give him enough criticism for his injury problems.
You think so?
Yeah, no, because everyone always talks about the O-line, and the O-line isn't amazing in Cincinnati, but there's a lot of plays where and this is why we like Joe Burrow so much, this is the cool thing about him, he's always got to be the hero. He's always got to stick in that pocket. He's always got to find his guys. And, bro, this is the NFL. This isn't LSU when you played on a team full of 5-star recruits and you can steamroll most of the other teams in the country. Like, this is the NFL. You've got, max, 10, 11 seconds you can stay in that pocket. And if you're not ready to get walloped, then you got to get rid of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I respect him for that, badass, brave play style, but you're not going to last in this league that long if, you're just constant. Because he stays in the pocket for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's he's like a better version of Russell Wilson.
All right.
Because that's kind of he's really good at avoiding the pressure.
Yeah.
And then he's got a super accurate, he might have the most accurate pass in the NFL. So, he can just find his targets really well. But sorry. Yeah.
Oscar's not too high on Burrow. It's interesting.
I mean, well, I am, but just not as high as everyone else.
Yeah.
I don't know, I hear people talk about him like he's, I don't know, everyone keeps trying to build him as, the biggest rival to Mahomes' stuff. And
it's more of Josh Allen now, that rival,
I we'll see if the Bills can. Yeah, I mean, does Mahomes even have a rival now?
No, not really. I was just trying to,
I think, my QB2 in the league is Lamar. I don't know, he's the only guy who's won an MVP on Mahomes' watch. So, I don't know, it's hard for me to say.
What are the other...
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Tony Pollard signing with the Titans, 3 years, $24 million. That's a nice pickup for them.
Yeah, I feel like that's a solo you thing. What do you think about that, Max?
Pollard's good. Last season wasn't so impressive, but the guy is a highlight reel. And he has a lot of burst. I just feel like the run blocking wasn't very good last season at a lot of times. So we'll see. The Titans are kind of in a rebuilding stage right now, but I think it's a nice pickup for them. And then Josh Jacobs signing with the Packers, interesting pickup for them. They are really deep at running back now. And let's get to the two big ones.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, 4-year deal with the Falcons, $180 million, $50 million signing bonus. I'm gonna be honest. I really did not. I thought they were gonna re-sign him. I was fully convinced that they were gonna, that the Vikings were gonna re-sign him.
Especially after the up and down season that Joshua Dobbs had for them.
Yeah.
After he went down, it just seemed like they're gonna re-sign Kirk Cousins. There's nothing really else to do, and now he's on the Falcons. And now what do the Vikings do? If they do want to just start tanking, which doesn't seem optimal because you still have Justin Jefferson on your team.
Yeah, I don't know what their plan is, but as far as the Falcons, what does this mean for them? I mean, like we said, it's a bad division. There's a lot of really young, talented players that these guys. Drake London. I mean, Bijan. Pitts. Sorry, I was forgetting their names, but yeah. They feel like they're players that are just ready to explode, and they just needed a quarterback to actually give them the ball.
Especially Bijan,
yeah.
A lot of times last season, especially with Arthur Smith as the coach, which he's no longer, Bijan was very isolated in that offense. Now it's time to finally bring him into it.
Yeah, so you know what? We'll see. Hopefully Kirk can stay healthy and have a good season with them because Falcon fans have been through hell. I'm going to be honest. There's not a lot of franchises out there that have had it worse than them.
28-3.
There's very few franchises that care about the team as much that have such a terrible team.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll say about that.
Yeah,
it's a little bit. That's a lot of money for Kirk. I don't know. We could have a conversation about Kirk another day, but to me, I respect him because he's. I'm not gonna say he's a scammer, but like I don't know. I've brought up before from
burglar.
Yeah. Basically from Aaron Rodgers to Mahomes. There wasn't a really big superstar Hall of Fame caliber quarterback drafted who actually had a long career in that time period. Cam, had the potential, but the Panthers messed him up too bad. And no other quarterback has benefited from that gulf than Kirk Cousins. Because he's broken the record for, richest player in the league before, maybe even twice. Like, you know, and now he's getting another big bag. So, you know, hats off to you, Kirk. The problem with the Vikings, too, man, is who's going to be the quarterback? They have the 11th pick in the draft. That's not really high enough to get in this draft. That's not high enough.
Joshua Dobbs. All right, let's move on to
the latest news. Saquon Barkley to the Eagles,
Oh,
46.8 mil for 3 years. I think 3 years is an appropriate length, for a running back, especially a running back that's his
Saquon's
age.
caliber. Yeah.
Yeah, and Saquon is really good. No, I like. Don't get me wrong. I think Saquon was he's a fan favorite. If you're the Giants, well, maybe not anymore. This is quite the interesting.
He goes to a division rival, and a big division rival too, a top team in your division, not just whatever team. So the Eagles definitely looked at that playoff loss last year and the complete disaster that the end of the regular season was for them. As a wake up call, all right, let's go out there, get another star, put another star around Jalen Hurts, make his job even easier, and let's make another run at it.
I really don't know what to make of the Eagles. I mean, they lost Jason Kelsey. They lost Fletcher Cox, both to retirement.
Yeah.
So
they lost DeAndre Swift.
Yeah,
DeAndre
DeAndre
Swift
as
now
well,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Barkley's going to make their run game a whole lot better. But still, the way that their season went, do we think this is it? That their offense is just going to turn around just because they have Saquon now? I don't think so.
But I like the option of an RB1 being Saquon and your wide receiver one being AJ Brown.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a deadly offensive combo.
Yeah, as long as they don't miss Kelsey too much, that's going to be a really scary run game.
Yeah. All right. Well, good show today, guys.
This was good.
Good
Let's wrap
job.
this up.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back next week for some more MLB, and we'll talk some more probably NFL off season. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.
Thank you guys. See you next week.
Bye, guys.